welcome to Life with Tami. In the words of Harold R. McAlden, author of the book titled Little Book, Big Ideas, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. That, in my opinion, is the true mark of leadership. Leadership has never been about maintaining the status quo or management. It's about setting a vision and inspiring those around you to not only believe in your dream, but to also support you as you bring transformation and excellence in the spaces that you inhabit. Authentic leadership is about service. And our guests today embody that very spirit. Here's what you can look forward to today. Actress and publisher Moky Makura makes her mark on the continent. CFO Cindy Mabaso-Koyana chats to us on leading corporations and motherhood. And Umamdora Manyoni reveals the spirituality behind leadership. Nigerian-born businesswoman, actress, presenter and speaker Moky Makura has infused her love of the African continent into work that educates, inspires and empowers Africa and its people, leading the way in the compilation and publishing of written material that will chronicle the African story and experience. Our first guest is an extraordinary woman. Extraordinarily talented she is. Moky Makura. Moky, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Moky, you have had quite a varied career. Won't you just talk us through it and how you eventually found yourself to where you are right now?
Well, look, I mean, I think like lots of different people, I started off not really knowing what I wanted to do. I've done the corporate thing. I had my own public relations business. And then I realized that I wasn't really that happy doing that. I realized I wasn't fulfilling some part of me. And I met a coach who said to me that in order to find your purpose in life, you've got to take something that makes you really angry and couple it with what you're passionate about. And if you put those two things together, you've actually found your purpose. And I did that. And I realized what made me really angry was that people's perceptions about black people, about Africa, that automatically, because we lived in Africa, we weren't educated, we just were lacking
in the dark continent.
Yeah. So that really made me quite angry. And also I found I was really passionate about telling stories. I just wanted to tell stories, be it through television, through movies, through writing, and actually I put them together. So a lot of the things I do are about making the continent, making Africans look better. It's about changing the perceptions foreigners or people who don't know Africans have about us. So all the things I've done in a very long-winded way are actually all on that path. So, writing a book, I wrote a book called Africa's Greatest Entrepreneurs, and that was about showcasing Africa's, really, really amazing business leaders, which a lot of people don't know about. When people think about entrepreneurs, you think about Donald Trump, you think about foreigners, but in Africa we have the most amazing entrepreneurs here, and nobody was writing about them, nobody was talking about them. So that's one of the things we did. And
it's an awesome book. Here it is. And I know it was sold out very quickly.
Yeah. This is the second one. I did one called Africa's Greatest Entrepreneurs, which was 16 entrepreneurs across the continent. This one is just South Africa.
Just South Africa, because I remember this flew off the shelves. You had to go for a second print run because I was going through exclusive books trying to find your book.
The thing about these stories is that they're inspiring.
Yes.
And I think it's just hearing that somebody who's been through a similar background to you, who's done similar, who doesn't have anything special. The people in that book, they don't have any more money. Some of them are not better educated, but they still managed to achieve amazing success. And I think that's why the books were so inspiring. And I really want to do more. I mean, I really want to do more because I realize, even this book, Herman Mashaba's Black Like You, the emails I get, because he's a typical South African story. I mean, he had absolutely nothing. In fact, he was only destined to be, an alcoholic and probably a thief, because he actually talks about that. He did drugs, but he built himself up from nothing. And when you read that story, you realize that it's possible. It's absolutely possible for anybody to do it. It comes from within.
And I love the title because you will know that Herman Mashaba was the founder of Black Like Me. Black Like Me, it's really become an empire. And your hair, I love the afro. and I love the title because in this he says, yes, Black Like Me, that was the product that he came up with, but I am just like you. You are just like me. the successes that I have had and the challenges that I have had in my life are challenges that you perhaps yourselves have had.
Absolutely.
And isn't it so inspiring to be able to read about those who've walked the walk?
Absolutely.
Because you see yourself mirrored therein.
Yeah, because I think for a lot of Africans, and certainly for black people, our role models often aren't there. We often kind of think, okay, well, you have to have grown up in America, you have to have been educated like this, because those are the people we see that are successful. You know, I always say that your average person in the township knows what an American in New York eats for breakfast, but they couldn't tell you what a Ugandan or a Nigerian or somebody else just across the continent, across the way from them, who's got more in common with them, you know, eats for breakfast, because we just don't know ourselves. And that, to me, you know, I think we need to fix that. I think there's a lot we can do, but I think it's you know, we need to fix it.
I mean, as a businesswoman and also as an actress and a publisher, you do a lot of work, not only in South Africa, but also in Nigeria as well. What is your passion for the continent, especially in uniting Africans?
Well, you know what? First of all, I'm from here. You know, I was lucky enough to be educated in the UK. And really, at the end of it, I'm not British. I will never be white. I don't want to be. I'm African. This is where I'm from. So for me, people have to understand where I'm from. And I think, you know, this thing about it being the dark continent, because people just don't have an understanding. You know, people always say to me, oh, where are you from? Or where are you originally from? I'm like, I'm not originally from anywhere. I'm still from and will always be from Nigeria. I'm passionate about Nigeria because I feel that Nigeria defined me. You know, I don't know how many people know Nigerians, but there's, you know, I'm very proudly Nigerian, but you know, there are things about being Nigerian that I think are unique to Nigeria. I think we're very confident generally, very entrepreneurial, very sort of out there. You know, if you go around the world, you know, and I've traveled quite a bit, I will get stopped. Oh, yeah, that lady from Jacob's Cross. So people recognize me, and you know, I could be in France. I've been in Paris. I've been in London. I've been in Dubai. I've been in the States, and they're Nigerians. Nigerians are incredibly well traveled. You know, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because we export some things we shouldn't be taking with us. But you know, that's where I'm from, and you know, I'm proud of where I'm from.
Yes.
You know, so for me, it's about showcasing what we have. You know.
And you travel around the country talking to business people about exporting your talents.
I do talks about storytelling. I talk about the importance of us telling our stories. And I'm going to use the American market again. If you go to America, if you look at the bookshelf, it is full of people who have self-published their own books, their own stories, you know, just people who are telling stories. And that's why Americans know so much about themselves. They watch themselves on television. We don't do enough of that here. And I think we really need to. So for me, it's about people telling their stories, no matter what format, you know, write it down. And, you know, one of the problems I find is that I get approached a lot because since I started doing these small, you know, books, the romance novels, people want to write. And often people want to write their biographies. And I'm saying, great, write it. But you know what? In order to write well, you have to read.
That's so true.
Because people have come before you and they know how to write. Just learn and absorb and then write. But Africans, we have a reluctance to read. We really do.
And I really love these. They're called a Nollybook's romance. Your African Mills and Boons, if you wish.
It's exactly.
And these are actually been adapted into movies.
Yeah. We just completed 6 movies. We changed 6 of those stories into movies for ETV. They were on in August, actually. So we're now going to be doing 13 more. And I didn't set off to do movies. I wanted to do books, but often you find that a movie's been done and then people go back and it's been adapted from a book and people go back and read the book. So I'm still hoping to drive people to read because I think it's fundamental to our success as a continent that we must be able to read. We must be able to read.
So do you get a lot of submissions from new writers?
I do. In fact, with the first 12 titles we did, 11 of those writers had never been published before. So I really feel there's not a big enough platform for young African writers to write because unfortunately the book buying public is white middle-class women. You know, so in a way, for us to be able to write, we have to develop readers who go and buy books. And I'll tell you a funny thing. This Black Like You, the Herman Mashaba biography, it kept being sold. Every time we went to a shop, it was like it disappeared, it'd gone. And the guys kept telling me, no, we ordered them. The problem is that books were being stolen. this book is probably one of the most stolen books, and it's
the best stolen.
It's the best stolen.
It's not
book,
a bestseller,
that
but a
people
best
want to
stolen.
read. We just can't afford the prices. Books are expensive. There's VAT on books. Your average book is over 100 rand. Those little books are 50 rand, which it sounds cheap. You can't find a 50 rand book, brand new book anywhere else, but it's still too much. It is still too much, for people's disposable income. So it's a difficult business model, and I've tried it. We put the books in ShopRite Checkers for 79.95 for 2 books. They did come off the shelves.
Yes.
But it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. The reason why books are over 100 rand is that's what the channel is. The retailer takes 50% of the book. The distributor has to take, and then the author needs something, and then the publisher needs something, to make it sustainable. And I don't believe in giving books away because there's no value.
There's no
in that.
value.
There's no
yes,
value.
you've got to actually
so
pay
we're
for
still
what
working
you
on
value.
another model, and so putting those ones turning them into movies hopefully will drive demand, the kind of level of demand that we need to keep those books at that price. But it's tough.
Moky, what is your vision as a leader? Because that is exactly what you are.
For me, I want people to feel empowered. I want them to feel empowered to believe that they can do whatever they set their minds to do. And one of the key ways I realize that people can do that is by being inspired. If you see somebody that's gone before you, that's had a very similar situation to you and they've overcome, it makes you believe that you can do it. And that's what I set out to do, the stories I tell, or the stories I want to see told. And I really believe we should be writing more. We should be chronicling our own story. I have this on my email. If you ever get an email from me, my tagline, my signature says, "Until lions learn to write, hunters will tell their stories for them." Right now, non-Africans are defining our story. They're telling our stories for us. And they're not telling the stories we want to tell.
Because it's not your voice.
It's not their voice. And they don't have the same vested interest that we do. So all I ask is that people should tell their stories. You should write it down, even if it's just in a notebook. And the internet is fantastic because you don't even need a publisher. You can self-publish, you can put it on a blog and let people know that, that I exist, that this is what I'm doing, and what I'm doing can maybe show somebody else that they too can do it. That's all we have as Africans.
And I think, the underlying message is that you matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
The underlying message is that your story matters. No matter how insignificant you may think it is.
Absolutely.
But it does matter. Moky Makura, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the inspiring work that you do. Thank you for being a trendsetter. And thank you for having a passion and living your passion. That was Moky Makura. Isn't she absolutely amazing? We'll be right back after the break.
Live with Tommy.